Alright guys, it's York Gliscors here, bringing you the Week 12 team builder for Casper and his LA Lake Guardians. This is another rematch for the battle that we played in Week 2, where we unfortunately did lose in a 1-0 to a Mega Septile because we didn't have enough speed on our Scarf Manaphy. So, yeah, sure, this set is obvious to bring again, but it just puts a lot of work in his team. Ice Beam for Septile specifically also hits things like Scar Armory, although Surf probably hurt it better, and it does do damage to Kieran B, just a nice little chip. Energy Ball is there for Blastoise specifically, and then Surf is a strong stab for Entei and Golurk, and U-turns obviously for Momentum. Just a little update is that I know I've been talking about this whole time about playoffs hype and everything, and apparently that is not how playoffs work. Apparently it's one from each conference, and Casper is actually #1 for our conference and for wildcard spot. So if I do beat him at 6-0 and Tup wins by 6-0, then Casper won't make the playoffs. But if I win by at least a 3-0, I believe Pokecrafter is guaranteed a playoff spot. Also, Pokecrafter would be guaranteed a playoff spot if Tup does lose. And this is also assuming Pokecrafter wins this week. I have not seen the battle yet, so I would not know. So yeah. Actually, now that I think of it, I'm gonna run a Rash Nature just to give a little bait that I might be physical, because if I keep going for U-turn, he'll think that I'm like Bounce and maybe like Flynium Z or something. And because it's the last week, we're supposed to be bringing some heat, but I wanted to, I don't know, maybe it wasn't me just to roll over this match and straight give the game to somebody. And I really wanted to, it's a rematch. I want to show that the first time wasn't just a fluke or anything, and that I can come back and at least end the season pretty strong, since I've been on a little bit of a winning streak lately. Beginning of the season is strong. Maybe it'll lead into other seasons that I might start soon, but we'll get in on that stuff later. Next up, we do have Rotom Heat. This is another similar set, just optimized a little bit better. We can still live a Choice Banded Aqua Jet from Azumarill. We do outspeed Azumarill, and we can fire off a Thunderbolt or Volt Switch. Both do KO. I believe Volt Switch has a low percentage of KOing, but it still does. Shadow Ball is there for Golurk, and it does put in damage that both Overheat and Volt Switch don't do on things like Entei or Mega Septile or anything. And also the Overheat's there just to blast anything like Kieran B, Scar Armory, anything of the sort. Shuckle Berry's there because Kieran B has the ability Terravolt, I believe, and it makes it where you cannot, it ignores your ability. So it's practically like Mold Breaker just for the special Kierans. So yeah, it's gonna ignore my Levitate ability and fire off an Earth Power, which is 4 times super effective against us, so we have the Sugar Berry especially for that. Also, maybe we get like knocked down by Golurk or something. I don't know, the possibilities are endless. Who knows what he might bring this week. Next up we have the W12 Hitmontop. Solid Vested, just to be able to take hits from like Meloetta Hyper Voice, Septiles like Focus Blast or Giga Drains or anything. We do have Rapid Spin to get away those hazards like the Galvantula Sticky Webs and Scar Armory Stealth Spikes. We also have Close Combat to hit Kieran B really hard, hit Scar Armory pretty hard. It does hit Licky Licky, but Licky Licky's kind of fat, so it's not going to do a lot of damage. Mach Punch for priority, just in case we need it. We don't have priority in any other Mon. And Earthquake, obviously, there just to do some extra damage on things like Entei or Galvantula. Specifically those two Mons in general. We are just running Max Attack Adamant, and we are running 232 HP just to get a little more defense. I believe this does let us live a Flare Blitz from regular Entei, not banded Entei, but I believe it might be regular Entei or just adamant Entei. I do not remember which one it is. I did not keep notes for this team builder, so I don't remember off the top of my head. Crobat here, we got Roost, Defog, U-turn, Taunt. U-turn is really the only move I really wanted on this thing. I do have enough speed to outspeed everything on this team outside of Mega Sceptile or Scarf Galvantula, or pretty much any Scarfer to be honest. But we are running Taunt to prevent webs, Defog to get rid of any sort of hazard, Roost just to heal up, and U-turn to get out of there. It also does prevent a substitute Meloetta that he brings almost every week. Because it puts in a lot of works on teams that can set up right in front of like Registeel or Whipped or anything. We come in, fire off a U-turn, sack something, U-turn again, and it gets knocked out. We can definitely use Infiltrator to the best of our ability, because we haven't been able to use it at all. And I wanted to bring more of an offensive Crobat this week, but offensive Crobat doesn't really put in work against this team, just because of the amount of resist he has for like things like Air Slash or Dark Pulse or Heat Wave and all those other kind of moves that I might wanted to bring, but they weren't really the best for this matchup. Next up, we do have Whipped. It is a Rocky Helmet, Iron Barbs. I know it's really rare to see Ferrothorn on my team. I don't really like this mon at all in Draft League. I probably will never pick this thing up again. I believe it is too situational, just because of all the Fire type is something that every team is going to have, and when you're 4 times weak to it, and it's really hard to switch in on anything without being too obvious. Sure, it does give like good mid-ground plays between electric types, not always having to go out to Zygarde, sure, but like I didn't bring it a lot, and that kind of sucks, so maybe he's not expecting this thing too much. We are running Leech Seed for residual damage plus healing, Spikes because Spikes plus Rocks on his team just put in so much work. Like, actually, it can bring Entei all the way down to 50%, just with max letters of Spikes plus Rocks. And he does like to switch out a lot. Like, I've noticed that a lot when I've watched him, that he definitely loves to switch around. And I've played him already, like I said, in week 2, and he definitely liked to switch up around Crobat. He never made typically the aggressive double, but he always switched out. Like, it was more of a strategic double than anything, just to like get in something that beats the next mon, but it was never something like a risky play, which is something I really am gonna try to take into my advantage. We're running Gyro Ball because that almost 2-hit KOs everything on his team outside of I believe it's Skarmory and Blastoise, which we do have C-Bomb for Blastoise, and we don't really have anything for Skarmory in specific. That's why I want to try to keep this thing alive to the best of my ability. We do outspeed a no speed investment Skarmory. If he's running max speed, I believe he does outspeed us. We do have, next on up here, we got Registeel, Thunder Wave. I understand that it doesn't affect Mega Sceptile because of that lovely ability, but if we can Thunder Wave his Kyurem B, his Azumarill, Entei, I know they do have priority, but if they use their priority and get fully paired, we can use it to our advantage. It also prevents Scarf Kyurem from going on a little bit of a rampage. We do have Ice Punch there for Mega Sceptile. It is a 2-hit KO, but Ice Punch into Mach Punch from the Hitmontop, it does really do a lot of damage. I also did mention that I'm Technician, so this Mach Punch actually does some bit of damage. I could run Intimidate for the Kyurem B, but if he ends up running Special like I'm expecting, then there's no point for it. We do have Stealth Rocks because, like I said, it does about 25% to a lot of his teams. Does 12% to Skarmory, chips down Kyurem B, Entei, Galvantula, and pretty much does good residual on everything else. Sure, he can bring Blastoise to Rapid Spin, or bring his Defog or his Skarmory. So yeah, if he brings Skarmory, he's gonna end up having to Defog a lot, Rocks a lot. We are bringing Superpower to 3 KO Kyurem B. I know that doesn't sound the best, but we are running Max Spadef to try to take hits from Sceptile, to take hits from Kyurem, just to do whatever we can to try to take hits from things, recover what left over, since Registeel doesn't have a good recovery, which I really wish it did outside of rest. So yeah, that is this team here. Hopefully we can end the season strong. If not, it doesn't really matter too much, just because you know, we're not able to make playoffs, which I really feel bad about. And because I told you guys during the last couple of weeks and the team builders and the battles, and I was like, yeah, we have a shot at playoffs if we win every game, and Crimson loses every game, which means that if there were okay, let me just pull this up real quick. If there were 2 wildcard spots, me and the G-Long Tour, like, let's say if there were 2 wildcards here and 2 wildcards here, I believe that someone from this division, 2 people from this division would be going, and then I would have to win this week and hope G-Long loses this week to Windham, which is Pokecrafter. And if Pokecrafter wins, he goes to 6-6. He'll fall to 5-7. If I win, I'll go to 5-7, and I'll place second in the division. I'm unfortunately not able to place first, as the lowest he can go is 6-6. So there's a couple forfeit wins that he got under his belt, I believe, to Rice and to the G-Long Torgats before they became into the league. It was the forfeit win against Minnesota Monfernos. So that was really unfortunate that because of those 2 forfeit wins. I don't know, maybe it was maybe it was not technically because of those 2 forfeit wins, but you know, if he didn't have them, we could still have a chance at #1 in the division. So yeah, this is pretty much the end of our season. We can end a strong 5-7, definitely bringing it back from being 1-7 earlier in the year. All we can do is pretty much help out the Pony division over here, which I will be scrolling up just in case you guys can't see. I'm not sure how it looks in the OBS with the teams over here. But yeah, pretty much if he loses, he goes to 6-6. Depending if he needs to get 6-0'd for anything unfortunate to happen. If he gets 6-0'd, he'll go to 6-6 with a 1 differential. And he is playing Windham, so Windham 6-0's him. He'll go to 6-6 plus 5, which means that he'll be in the lead as long as. Oh wait, no, never mind. He doesn't play LA Guardians. Excuse me. He played the G-Long Torcats. So if he 6-0's the G-Long Torcats, I believe he goes to plus 5, 6-6, which means I need to win by 3-0. I need to win by 3-0 to give this guy a playoff spot. And I know Pokecrafter is a good friend of mine. Hopefully he can just win his game, and that would obviously not put me in a position. I mean, if he does win his game, then it does put me in a position. But if he loses, then I don't have to worry about my game mattering too much. So yeah, I mean, if I win this game, I guarantee that I'm not last place. Although I'm not sure if they can pass me, being 4-8, because of our differential. But I will be tied for last technically, but I would still be in the lead by differential. So I believe I cannot get last no matter what. Just because of the way my differential has definitely skyrocketed. I was negative 30s. I believe I was like near the negative 30s going into like week 5, just because of the 6-0 against that. All those that whole sand team stuff that happened early in the season. I'm not too worried about that though. But yeah, that was a 6-0 that happened, which is super unfortunate, but it's okay. I believe that we can hopefully finish the season strong, and that's all that I really care about here. If we can finish the season strong, I'm completely okay with how we played this season. I will be doing a season recap just to talk about how I feel I've done. I definitely feel like I've progressed over the time, just because in the beginning of the season I felt I was bringing more of just like standard kind of sets, like, you know, like bringing like, sure, I had this set that I had in like the beginning of the season and everything, but I definitely feel like the way I've been building has definitely gotten better. I do want to give a shout out to my boy Crimson, who is in this league. I will put his link in the description. He helped me look over this team just because I wanted a second opinion on the team before you know, I went out and played it. I haven't gotten a lot of like second opinions, I guess, on a lot of this, but you know, yeah, so I'll be putting his link in the description. Make sure you go check him out. I believe he does still record for this league. I know a lot of the battles haven't been going up, but it's okay. I do understand that not everybody has all the time on their hands. But yeah, I'm gonna be done ranting now, since I have been for the last 5 minutes. Pretty much, if you made it here, I do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. And yeah, stay tuned for the live video tomorrow of our battle against Casper. I have fixed everything. There should be no way, absolutely no way, that we mess up this recording. But as I do say this, I probably will. So anyways, that is all from me. I am the York Gliscors, the coach of your New York Gliscors, and I will catch you guys later.